Hello everyone and welcome to Doctor Who Review with me, John Parker, and...
Me, Jack Howling, and...
Me, Cody Chronotis.
Okay, folks, we are back reviewing episode 7, Kerblam. Kerblam. Quite a climatic title there, wouldn't you say?
Kerblam.
Kerblam! Kerblam! Sounds like a massive explosion. So,
Which is ironic.
Indeed. Yes. Actually, that's a very good point there. So, this is a rather interesting episode. Started off with the most beautiful visual effects I think we can all pretty much agree on, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I love the time vortex.
The TARDIS charging through the time vortex like that was pretty amazing. So, a Doctor and crew travelling from the time vortex, trying to get away from this mysterious kind of energy that the Doctor's detecting, only to find out that it's a teleport pulse containing a Kerblam postman delivering a parcel for the Doctor. Now, there's a point in there that I think we all want to talk about. We'll get to that after I've kind of run through the synopsis. So, the Doctor, opening the package, actually finds the slip inside the delivery note with a message on the back: "Help me." And of course, the Doctor being the Doctor, with the help of Graham's persuasion, they all decide to go and investigate to try and work out who actually sent the message in the first place. So, arriving on Kandoka's moon, because it was the moon, wasn't it, where the...
Yeah, the moon was where the dispatch point was, the planet was the world.
Dispatch, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Only to be introduced by these creepy kind of Auton type machines.
They remind me of the Angels from Voyage of the Damned.
Really?
I can see that, actually.
The voice particularly.
Yeah. I kind of related them more to the Autons.
It's a bit of both.
Yeah,
I can see both.
The Angels, I agree with, because the deep tone on the voices, the sinister one-note tone
as well.
Yes, yeah, with the kind of opened mouth.
Do you know, I'm sure I heard that voice actor's voice before. Did they hire the same guy who does the announcements or something?
They probably did. It wouldn't surprise me if they did, because they've done that in the past before with other episodes. So yeah.
Matthew Grayville does the voice.
Name rings a bell.
Oh, he's a Welsh actor. Who is he? What do you do? They were in Broadchurch. What a fucking surprise!
Surprise! That doesn't surprise me at all now.
Torchwood, video games.
So he's got a pretty decent career behind him. So
yeah.
But yeah, they later on find out, after suspecting the boss and the person below the boss of negligence amongst its workers, because they find out that a lot of workers have actually just vanished into thin air for no particular reason, and they assume that the system is actually corrupted, just completely overwritten with these sinister programs, which actually was it actually reprogrammed, or was it just taken out? Not taken over, but being used to obviously send out those parcels to those customers. Did they actually say that the system was hijacked or hacked, or was it just actually used as like a conduit?
I don't think that it had shown that it was hijacked. The system itself was perfectly fine. What had happened was
it was being used.
That guy was just using the system.
Because I thought that scene, when they find out eventually it was the janitor guy who was actually like a young the maintenance guy, who was he was an activist, wasn't he? Trying to change the world.
Terrorist, more like.
Well, yeah, terrorist, because he wasn't happy with the fact that most of jobs out there now are all run by machines, that only 10% are actually run by humans now. And obviously his concern is going to go lower and lower and lower. So his idea was to blow up the customers for whatever reason.
To make the robots...
Other humans to get back at the robots.
Well, apparently it was because he wanted to make the robots look as if they were at fault. Because obviously it was an automated system, so it would be suspected that it was the robot's fault, not the...
But It still is silly logic. Let's blow up other humans to
It
get back
is.
at the robot.
Well, to
It's
be honest, we
ridiculous.
are human. And humans do that. A lot. Ridiculously a lot.
True.
Yeah, that's the point. We are the most self-destructive race.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was quite a... I found it a very interesting story.
I liked it.
From the point that, I mean, obviously, it kind of showed that our civilization is more or less pushing towards that kind of, industry. That workers are being actually replaced by machines now, which is, true, because that is more or less happening in a lot of workplaces. Machines are going to probably take over.
The doctor had a good point. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, no, because it just depends on who's making the system and who's using it.
In fact, it was only the law that of that particular planet that gave it so there had to be at least 10% human workforce, right?
Yeah.
So, but as the doctor said, it's all automated, it's all repetitive stuff. So it doesn't make sense, really, as to why you'd need humans doing those jobs.
Yeah,
But
that's true. That is true. But no, I mean, overall, I thought the story was interesting. However, there were some slight issues. Not just probably with the story itself, but more or less to do with like Doctor Who lore and logic. Specifically, at the very beginning, with the teleport pulse. Now, they were in the time vortex. The TARDIS was, we presume, to be fully shielded, protected, and yet this simple little poxy teleport delivery man, robot, managed to just zap itself in, and there we go.
There's actually multiple problems with that. Not only have you got the fact that the TARDIS does have shields that would normally protect against that, and no, you can't use the excuse that the Doctor lowered the shields, as there was no scene that depicted such thing. Not only that, she didn't know what it was.
To do it.
Exactly, she didn't know what it was.
They were running from it.
Exactly. So, but there's also another problem.
What's that?
How the hell is all like things like this teleport thing getting through the time vortex? That implies that anything can time travel. The TARDIS is then useless, seeing as all the other races seem to have this method of getting access to it,
Although, I suppose, if we cast our minds back to the episode 12 of Series 3, when the Doctor, Martha, and Captain Jack escaped from the planet at the end of the universe, at the very start of the episode, we actually saw the time vortex with them
but they were using a vortex
vortex
manipulator. That was a device specifically programmed to time travel.
That is very specifically called a vortex
manipulator. But my point here is, yes, there are other devices that can time travel. We understand that, but they were minimal. You had to get a vortex manipulator to time travel. Period. So why is it that there was other devices?
Because also, if we look back to the Family of Blood as well, the only way they managed to follow the Doctor and Martha was because they had a stolen time vortex from a time agent.
Yeah.
So that's how they followed them. So yes, it doesn't make much sense, to be honest, and that was my biggest gripe in this whole episode.
I mean, another similar point to this would be not even the Time Lords could make things that weren't the TARDIS that went through the vortex. Because if you look back to the Doctor's wife, the TARDIS was only in space when that cube knocked on the door.
Yes. And the Doctor opened the door.
If anyone could put anything through the vortex, it would be the Time Lords. And if they weren't even doing that with their own message cube, which I know, yes, technically wasn't sent by a Time Lord, it was sent from that planet, but I don't know, it just seems they didn't think of that very well.
No.
I have got a positive thing to say about that first introduction scene, and that is that we get our first glimpse at what I can only assume is a form of temporal orbit. For the Doctor seems to put the handbrake on. You can hear the TARDIS land in the middle of the vortex, but the rotor keeps going. And I assume that was so that she could stop and have a closer look at the teleport thing, plus let it in, or whatever.
I hadn't noticed that.
But the TARDIS actually lands. The in-flight sound completely stops. The inside of the console goes quiet. You can only hear the hum while they're talking with the robot and all that. And then she spins the egg timer, which is a weird control, and the whole thing all of a sudden zooms back into in-flight. She literally starts taking off again, but really quickly.
I must admit, I thought the egg timer was potentially the worst control I've ever seen on the TARDIS. We had taps on the first Matt Smith console, for God's
Yeah, that's true. But one good thing I'll take from this as well is that we've had some good references to old episodes. Obviously, not just episodes, but past Doctors. So the Fez, and of course we had the reference to the Unicorn and the Wasp as well.
And we had the Venetian Aikido thing again.
Yes, we did.
The third Doctor.
Good point. I actually forgot about that. Good one there.
I do like some of the references they're including.
Yeah.
So can you just repeat what other references did you see?
So the Fez.
Yes.
The reference to the Unicorn and the Wasp.
What was that one?
You know when Yaz was talking about poking a wasp's nest, and they went to go and hide in that little compartment to wait for that Said bloke to leave the office, and she said, "Oh, have I ever told you about the Wasp and Agatha Christie?"
Huh.
Yeah.
I never picked up on that. Wow.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't paying attention to what she was on about.
You didn't pick that one up, John. You surprised me there.
Yeah,
You really surprised me.
That was they made a reference to that. I thought that was nice.
I can't believe I missed that. That's hilarious.
Was pretty good. But with the Fez part as well, right? I mean...
Oh boy, the plot holes.
Yes, because I initially thought that the person who was asking for help was a friend of the Doctor's, or at least someone from the Doctor's past, who at least knew the 11th Doctor. Not someone that we'd know, but someone that the 11th Doctor had an encounter with, right? Obviously, it turned out to be completely different. It was just some schoolboy who was, thought he was changing the world or whatever. And it's like... So, the system, when it knew it was being misused, sent that Fez out to the Doctor. Why did it wait so long? Or
how did it
how didn't it know that the Doctor was into Fezes during that time, or even if it knew?
The only explanation I can think of that would make sense in a Doctor Who realm for that would be the Doctor, Matt Smith, got bored, ordered the Fez, and then somehow, because of his constant time travelling, it just got confused as to where the hell the Doctor was. And only when it was circling through the time vortex did it finally see the TARDIS and go, "Oh, there they are," and then was able to find.
But that would
assume... it's such a stretch, but
wouldn't that assume...
That is a really big stretch.
But that would assume that teleport pulse has been going around for like 1,000 years.
Which would then,
And then to further that point, they didn't acknowledge that information. If they had acknowledged that and gone, "Oh yes, I ordered this as my past self," ha ha ha. But they didn't.
No.
They just made a throwaway joke of, "Oh, does it still suit me?"
Well, no, the Doctor said, "I forgot I ordered this. I don't remember ordering it," or something like that.
But why wait so long?
That doesn't make a point. That doesn't really prove
it doesn't
or
explain
deny.
it. No.
There was a lot of problems with this episode.
There was, but through the beginning and to the middle part of it, I thought there was at least some decent build-up. I've said more than once now that to me the ending was massively anticlimactic. That ending was just anticlimactic. When we all found out, it was like, oh, it was the young kid. Oh,
it was
great.
The fucking janitor.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. When I was really excited for this episode because the clip and the trailer, I actually was like, a little bit more Doctor Who-y. And to be honest, the story isn't bad. I actually like it. It's much better than what we've had recently. And I think last episode and this episode was definitely a step up, probably because it's a different set of writers. But anyway, but no, I do agree. The ending was a little bit, oh god, it's the human, and not only that, a male human. Once again, when is there going to be a
male?
When is there going to be a female antagonist? I'd love to find out. But no, I was a little disappointed. I was hoping that the system was the problem. I wanted it to be the classic story of the system was the fault, because I'm used to that type of thing. And I mean, making it another human, like, oh, I just didn't agree with the robots taking over, so so I'm going to blow other people up to make a point because, yay, terrorism.
Yeah.
Do you know, there's actually another hole to do with the entire story of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
If the bubble wrap was the weapon,
Yeah.
explain to me how the fez was not wrapped in explosive bubble wrap.
Yeah, because Ryan popped one of the bubbles, didn't they? And then at the end, they said, don't pop it to Graham.
Yeah, at the end, they were like, don't do it, Graham.
But Ryan's
You
always
would have
done
done
it.
But at the start of the episode, you should have all been blown up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a
It would have made
major
for
one.
more exciting viewing.
I totally spotted that at the end of the episode. When she told Graham off, I was like, no, we know that one's safe because Ryan popped it, you muppet.
I kind of spun that one around a little bit because I assumed that when the system sent the message, the help me message, it somehow managed. Well, no, I assumed it somehow managed to kind of like trick everybody else, so that put bubble wrap in that wasn't explosive.
Oh, we're stretching it a bit there, Jack.
Are we? A bit,
Well, think about it. I mean, the issue was obviously currently happening. The system tries to protect itself by sending a help me message. I mean, yes, it would have realised the bubble wrap was explosive. Maybe.
I mean, because bear in mind, it was the kid who was the one who was creating the explosives. He was the one who was creating it.
I don't know how he got the bubble wrap in there to begin with, though. I know he's the maintenance guy and he has access to everywhere, but
that's what. But that's what I mean.
Surely the robots would have seen him do it, though. Then again, they don't leave dispatch, do they?
Yeah, but there were other robots around. There were other supervising robots.
Actually,
as we saw when they were telling Yaz and Lee Mack, I forget his name.
I liked his character.
He was very good.
Though the robot went for him, didn't it?
Yeah, the robots knew it was him.
Figured it out in the end.
That's why they went for him in the office, and they obviously none of the other characters knew that, which is why they went to stop it.
I'm just thinking, when the hell did they figure that out? Because if they figured it out sooner before, then why didn't they just go for him and deal with the problem? That's it, job done.
Hold on a second. So the maintenance guy had hacked the system somehow, making it do his bidding.
Mm-hmm.
Henceforth, why the robots were grabbing the test subjects.
Yes.
And then obviously he was blowing them up, getting rid of the body evidence by liquidating the bodies. We all understand with that. Right. But the system was getting its own back while it was hacked.
Yes.
But I don't think it was. I think we agreed it wasn't hacked. It was just being misused.
Right, but it forced
I think
the robots to...
I think it only hacked a small section of it. Seeing as we've been stretching every other fucking plot point in this story
That's
so
true.
far.
But,
I mean,
if it weren't for these loopholes, we wouldn't be stretching them, would we? That's
Yeah,
the thing.
there is a lot of open doors, I think. I mean, the writing was better than the previous episodes, as I said before, but I really do think they are leaving a lot of open doors, a lot of plot holes that we have to work around.
I don't know, actually.
Was this a Chibnall episode? Was
No, it wasn't. This was written somebody else.
Well, this again furthers that point that he can't write for shit, but there we go.
So,
No, I mean...
Oh, sorry, what were you going to say, Tom?
I was just going to say a final point. And I mean, this is a different written episode, so... And it was better. I mean, yes, there was all these plot holes, but it still was better than what we'd seen. It was still more of a Doctor Who episode.
Yeah.
You know, so...
It was reasonably good, given that it was just supposed to be Space Amazon.
That's true. That's true. So, should we get to our verdicts? This is going to be interesting. So, John, out of 10, what will you give?
There is a lot of plot holes in this episode that make me go, I wish they'd explained it better. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Good storyline, although it could have ended a bit better. So I think I will give it a solid... No, I'll give it a solid 8.
8, okay. And Cody, what would you give?
Well, I mean, it was okay, I suppose. I mean, there were so many problems that we spotted after the fact. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a lot. I mean, in that first opening scene, there was about 3 things that they got wrong.
That's true.
But no, I think I'm trying to think what I gave last week's episode. To be honest,
I believe it was a. What was
I
it?
think it was a really bad rating.
Wasn't it 5?
I think so. See, the thing is, though, I think that last week's was better than this. But I think I was unfair to give last week's a 5. So I feel like I've shot myself in the foot. This one wasn't completely terrible. I'll give it a 6.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. Again, I mean, I really did enjoy this episode from the point of the fact that from the way the story it built up towards just before the end was pretty decent. But when you consider the plot holes and the issues that come up, and you just kind of like they weren't necessary. They certainly weren't necessary, and continuity above all is, you know, really lacked in this, and has lacked in quite a few episodes as well, as not only myself has pointed out, but other people have as well. So, considering that, with this episode, I'm going to give it a 7.5. 7.5. So, that is the end of our review, folks. Next week's episode looks pretty interesting. We're going to like a Salem-type setting.
Yes, we're going into the past.
You know.
Was it King James?
Yes, King James. It was King James, yeah.
Yeah. Alan Cummings role.
That'll be interesting. So until then, guys, see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye, guys.
Goodbye!
Thank you, folks, for watching. If you enjoyed, do please leave a like or comment below on this video.
If you want more, on Jack's side is the last video and the recommended video that we've suggested to you.
To stay tuned for more, on John's right is the link to our channel so you can subscribe, and also we have a link to our website if you want more information about who we are and what we do. Until next time,
Take care, stay safe,
and remember,
let your geeks out. Bye bye, guys.